What's up guys, my name is Timbo, and welcome, it's good to have you here. Now in one of my previous videos we talked about Ghaul and the villains in Destiny 2, and it got me thinking about how the villain can affect the story of a game, movie, book, whatever. In my mind, the villain has just as big of an effect on the story as the hero does, and I think that superhero movies are a good example of this. I think the villain's relationship with the protagonist, the writing, performance, and motives are all crucial from turning your average superhero movie into something like The Dark Knight. And this is true for any story really, including something like Destiny. On the surface, Ghaul has the best potential to be a good villain out of all those we've seen so far. And sure, that's not saying much, considering how like half of the antagonists in Destiny aren't even physical beings. I'm looking at you, Siva! But even still, when comparing Ghaul's motives to someone like Oryx, I think Ghaul takes the cake. Oryx was trying to get revenge. Ghaul is trying to take something he believes belongs to him. I guess this is up to you to decide, but personally I think Ghaul has more potential. I think his motives are something less explored, whereas revenge at this point is a pretty common motive for a villain. If you're unaware, I'll catch you up. Destiny 2 begins with Dominus Ghaul, the leader of the Red Legion, invading the tower and crippling the Guardians of their light. Ghaul believes that the Traveler, in choosing the Guardians, chose wrong, and tries to get the light for himself. And while this video is starting out talking a lot about Ghaul, I mainly want to focus on the protagonists in the game, primarily you, Cayde, Zavalla, and Ikora Ray. The presence of Ghaul brings a lot of foreshadowing, with phrases such as, "Welcome to a world without light," as well as clips of these characters shown pretty helpless, shocked that light could be taken away once given. This causes the Vanguard to split up to separate places in the solar system, and it looks like it's your job to get the band back together again. If you've been keeping up with Destiny news, then you most likely already know this, but I wanted to preface it to get to the topic of this video. The loss of light, the destruction of the tower, the splitting of the Vanguard, the speaker gone, all of these things ain't so great for someone that doesn't look like a space turtle. That means you. And I don't know about you, but I think all of these plot elements have a ton of potential to tell a great story with great characters. All it has to do is have the balls. If what I know is true, then you'll be playing some parts of Destiny 2, most presumably the campaign at least, without your ghost. Which means to me, if you die, you're dead. Period. No respawn. Now from a gameplay element, you'll obviously still respawn in checkpoints and everything, but I'm not referring to that. I'm more so aiming at the story and how a plot device like this can be implemented. Ghaul is doing something that no other villain has done before. He's penetrated the city's inner walls and taken it over along with the light, meaning no power, no supers, and as mentioned before, no revive from your ghost. This sort of thing is foreshadowed a ton in Destiny 2's trailers and gameplay. A good example of this is the trailer that Bungie opened their gameplay reveal with, as it's Zavalla constantly dying and respawning because of the light, because of his ghost.
We fight, we die, and we live again.
So the fact that he won't have that power on his side anymore leads to more tension. Zavalla and all the other Guardians are on their metaphorical last life. Another great line that Ghaul says in the E3 trailer goes as this:
You're not brave. You've merely forgotten the fear of death. Allow me to reacquaint you.
This is yet another example of death, more specifically the fear of death and how Guardians don't have it because their light allows them to keep coming back to life. So you might be wondering where I'm going with all this, and it really boils down to this one question. Does all of this I've shown you, the quotes, the visual hints, etc., foreshadow that someone is going to die in Destiny 2? Or I guess, should someone die in Destiny 2? Would it be a letdown or a case of missed potential if Bungie does all this stuff to make Ghaul look bigger and badder, more threatening than any other foe we've faced, and then not actually show us how he's dangerous? Will Ghaul be a great villain, or will his bark be greater than his bite? More than anything, I want Ghaul to have an impact on the characters and the world. I want to see citizens of the last city devastated by the loss of their home. I want to see the Vanguard change after their light is gone. Basically, at the end of the game, when everything is okay again, I want there to be repercussions on both the characters and world resulting from Ghaul's invasion. Now, I want to talk about how Bungie can achieve this specifically and, really delve deep into possible themes and character arcs that they could go with, but if I did that, I'd be losing the plot for this video. So, I'll save that discussion for another day. What I want to focus on in this video is character deaths, and if it's necessary to make Ghaul a good villain. As always, I want these videos to be discussion starters, so I'm going to post some questions, give some examples from other games as well as Destiny, and see what you all think about it. To kick this off, I'm going to talk about my favorite gaming franchise of all time, Uncharted. Yeah, I know, completely different game, but I just really like Uncharted, okay? Deal with it. The Uncharted games are all great, but one of the little nitpicks me and others can come up with is, well, character deaths. It could be said that this started earlier in the franchise, but for me this really began in Uncharted 3. Throughout the whole game, people hint to Drake that he's gonna get someone killed. Sully gives him the "I'm getting too old for this" spiel.
You got your pride all tangled up in this thing. It's making you reckless. I taught you better than that. Gonna get yourself killed. Oh, damn. Hell. Probably get us all killed.
Multiple times, characters ask Drake why he's even going after the treasure.
That was too close.
He'll be okay.
No, I mean the whole thing. Just isn't worth it, Nate. Let this one go.
Elena also says to Drake,
Why, Nate?
That's what we're here to find out.
No, I mean, why this obsession? I'm just worried.
I can take care of myself, all right?
I'm not talking about you.
What, Sully?
He would go to the ends of the earth for you, Nate. Just don't ask him to.
Chloe and Cutter leave the mission like a third through the game because they think it's too dangerous and not worth it. There are literally countless examples of this, but yet no one dies. With all that foreshadowing, it was actually more surprising to me that someone didn't die. They make you think Sully dies at the end of the game, which is something they already did in Uncharted 1, but it proves just to be a hallucination. In Uncharted 4, they do a similar thing. They set up this really good parallel with Henry Avery and Thomas 2 with Sam and Rafe. Nadine mentions how everyone obsessed with the treasure ends up dead. Nate tries telling Sam the same thing other characters told him in previous games about how the obsession of treasure isn't really worth it, and that there's things in life that mean more to him, and it's really good stuff. But they never pull the trigger. Even when Sam seems like he's given up and tells Nate to leave him behind, he still manages to find a way out to save them both. And yeah, the endings to these games are happy, and I'm extremely satisfied with them. 10 out of 10, would play 100 times again. I get that Uncharted just isn't that type of game. It's not that Naughty Dog doesn't have the balls or anything, they clearly do. It's supposed to be lighthearted, so ending sad or bittersweet even wouldn't fit. All I'm saying is that when you build something up like that, and then continually don't deliver, you'll have people that will notice it, and some of them will feel like a really powerful moment was missed. Uncharted could have been a game about obsession and how it can destroy a person. And while it is about that through Rafe, Drake himself never suffers the consequences of his reckless actions. Only the villains do. So you can make the argument that he and Sam never really learned their lesson. And while you can run into problems of never pulling the trigger, you can also be to blame of doing it too much. The Walking Dead games are such. For example, without going too much into it, the game is exciting at first, but then gets old. The shroud goes away and things become predictable. Melodrama here, melodrama there. Oh, things look good. Just wait 5 seconds and oh, zombies, death. Everyone can die but Clementine. You can do it too much. And you can say the same thing about The Walking Dead, that you can about Uncharted. The Walking Dead is supposed to be sad and dramatic like that. I get it. I'm not trying to say that I don't still enjoy The Walking Dead games, because I do. All I'm saying is that on a base level, generalizing everything here, killing characters or not killing characters can be extremely powerful or extremely stupid. So if Destiny were to kill someone off, they'd have to do it right. It would have to feel emotional, earned, respectful, and, well, not cheap. And being honest, I don't think that they're in the situation to do that just yet. I mean, you can kill Arak Jalal, the Dead Orbit dude, I don't know, I probably butchered that name, but no one would care. And that goes for the same for practically everyone except Cayde. I like Zavalla, or Ikora, or Amanda Holiday, sure, but if they died I wouldn't be super devastated or anything. And that's the thing, I don't think Bungie has put their characters into a position to be cared about enough, developed enough, layered enough to get rid of them in a non-stupid way. Even Cayde, really. He's cool and all, but he's not like super deep as a character. He's just really likable and funny. And sure, they have a lot of backstory on them in the Grimoire cards, but when we're talking about the actual game, the actual things that they're saying when you're playing the game, there ain't much there as of right now. Now, they can turn this around and make these characters super interesting in Destiny 2 Without a doubt. I just don't know if they will. And bringing this full circle, does not killing someone make Ghaul look like a little bitch? Well, no, but that doesn't make everything okay. One of the reasons why Uncharted gets off the hook for messing with this character death stuff is the fact that the rest of the story and writing is held up, and it's just good on its own. It has unexpected twists and turns everywhere, the characters are extremely well written, and the storyline itself is just good. And like I said, the game chooses to focus on other themes and lessons, like family, whereas Destiny is pretty much void of any altogether. And like I said, I was going to talk about how I would personally go about making Ghaul an effective villain in both instances, killing someone and not killing someone, but if I did that, this video would be like 20 minutes long, so I'll save that for later. Destiny 2 will have a good story. I just don't know if it will be anything more than that. It's missing that moment, that amazing scene where something unexpected happens. Maybe a character death will be the thing to give me that. But as of right now, I'm not really sure if it's the right time to do so. But that's all I've really got to say, and now I've got a few questions to ask you guys. 1. Do you think someone will die in Destiny 2? If so, who do you think it will be? And do you think it should even happen? Personally, I think they could just montage some deaths in there of unimportant characters when they show how devastating the aftermath of the tower's destruction is, rather than bothering with killing off a major character just yet. I still want the story to be deeper and more impactful than something we've seen before, but I think that they could have Ghaul focus on the good versus evil theme that I talked about in my True Villain of Destiny 2 video, and it would be just as powerful of a message. If you missed that, I'll leave it in the cards and description so you can figure out what I'm talking about there. To check out the full Destiny Discussions playlist, you can do so by clicking on your screen. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.